and welcome back to my channel. It has been a hot minute since I have uploaded a video. A lot of personal things happened in the last few months going into the new year and into the new year. So I'm now in a new house and a new city. Anyway, I won't bore you with those details, but I may end up starting a personal vlog here to touch a little bit on my life and all of that. So I will say Happy New Year, even though it is the middle of February. New city, new year, new things. So without further ado, let's jump right into today's topic. Today we will be talking about the disappearance of Nadia Atwi. Nadia was 32 years old when she disappeared from the north side of Edmonton, Alberta on December 8, 2017. Nadia and her mother were kindergarten teachers at a Southside private school, and she was also a mother to a little boy. Nadia's parents lived very close to her and her husband, so her and her mother would often carpool to work together. She was extremely close with her family, and although she was Canadian-born, she was very active and involved in her Lebanese culture. Friends and family described Nadia as a very special person. She was exceptionally kind and a beautiful soul with a great sense of humor. She was also described as well-dressed and, oh my god guys, she's freaking beautiful, responsible, and happy. I'm part of a public Facebook group that they have set up for Nadia, which I will link below. Her family and friends continue to share stories, memories, and pictures of Nadia in this Facebook group, and it's also used to keep her memory alive and her picture out there so that we can find out what happened to Nadia. It breaks my heart to read their posts and their messages to Nadia in case she ever sees them, and that's why I wanted to do a video on this case. It's not super popular or well known. There's really not a lot of information, but it's my hometown, and since I'm from the area, I thought I could get her picture out there, the word out there, and maybe somebody that knows something can come forward. Okay, so let's get to her actual disappearance. Nadia was last seen by her husband at 6:30 in the morning before she left the house, presumably to go to work, and that the night prior, she had also seen her mother. It's also known that her last point of contact, or last person she spoke to, sent a text to, was her husband at about 3 in the morning, and I believe that was asking if he was coming to bed, which I found a little odd. Well, not odd, but potentially concerning, but I'm going to jump into that later. So Nadia had left at about 6:30 in the morning on December 8th, 2017, and a short time later, her mother, Salwa, had shown up to the house to carpool to work as usual. Now, Nadia's husband and her mother were kind of confused as to what was going on, because he had said obviously that Nadia had left at 6:30, and her mother was like, you know, okay, maybe there was a miscommunication, something, whatever, and that she would already have been at work kind of thing. However, unfortunately that was not the case, and no one had heard from Nadia since that morning when she last saw her husband, and she did not show up for work. Of course, mother's intuition, Nadia's mother, Salwa, knew something was not right. The police were contacted, and hours later, Nadia's Chevy Equinox was found in a ditch in Rundle Park, which is a public park along the North Saskatchewan River in central Edmonton. Nadia was nowhere to be found, but in the vehicle was her cell phone, her wallet, and her hijab. There was no initial sign of a struggle or indication of foul play, but I'm not 100% that the vehicle was ever taken in for a thorough check and take evidence. I'm assuming it wasn't, being that I couldn't find any information on that. Volunteers and police did check the surrounding area and walked through the park looking for Nadia, but nothing ever came of this. They did find a shoe close to the vehicle, but they were unable to determine whether this was in fact Nadia's shoe or not. I did find that there was an item of significance apparently found, but this item was never disclosed and no description was given. I wasn't really able to find out why. I found that a little strange because generally police, if they found something that's potentially a lead or can point them in a direction, they generally don't tell the public about it right away. They won't report it to the news. So in my mind, that would say that they were leaning towards a suspicion of foul play, but yet they've also said that there is no suspicion of foul play, or that there's no reason to consider that it was a homicide necessarily. So now I did want to make mention that her last point of contact was 3 a.m. to her husband, asking him if he was coming to bed, and then supposedly he saw her at 6:30 again that morning when she left. I just found that kind of strange, only in that I wondered if maybe there was an ongoing issue, that they didn't really sleep together anymore, or there was some trouble between, the two of them in the home, or some stress at home. Either way, the late night text and then early morning rising would suggest to me that maybe she wasn't getting enough sleep, and was kind of under a lot of stress at the time of her disappearance. And it is speculated that she may have become extremely upset and actually had run away. There was never anything specifically said about tension or unhappiness in their marriage, but regardless of that, it's kind of crazy to me that the house was never searched, or I could never find anything regarding the house being searched, or the husband being, reasonably interrogated, and that just doesn't really sit right with me. Shortly after Nadia's disappearance, a candlelight vigil was held by her family and friends to speak about Nadia and plead for her safe return. Unfortunately, a fight did break loose during the vigil when Nadia's husband became angry that a woman who didn't like Nadia or wasn't particularly nice to Nadia was speaking. And some even made statements to go so far as to say that he may have been involved in her disappearance. He did leave the candlelight vigil temporarily and returned to make a statement himself. He returned to say that Nadia had been suffering from bipolar and had gone missing before, but would always keep in close contact with family during these episodes. And it was confirmed that she did in fact suffer from bipolar and some mental health issues. So that's something that you really got to keep in mind in cases like this. If they're having a manic episode or even a depressive episode, that they could take off, that they could attempt to take their own life. It's terrifying, but it's absolutely a reality. Her husband also made a statement that the police should check the North Saskatchewan River, which the park her vehicle was found at is situated on, that river. Now, I know that sounds incriminating, but I'd also like to mention the fact that the police basically search that river every spring. And I mean, it's not always for people, but usually there is some suspicion that, you may find a body. So that is something that would have to wait. Obviously, tensions were very high. I'm sure the family was getting very little sleep, and they're completely emotionally drained. So I understand the outburst and that to a degree. He did make a public plea for her safe return, but it didn't feel very genuine to me, and that's just my vibe. That's just my own whatever. So we'll fast forward to a year later because not a lot came of the investigation. The police were not able to find any leads, pursue any leads. So in 2018, December of 2018, Nadia's family posted a $50,000 reward for information leading to the whereabouts of Nadia. While her family holds hope that Nadia is still out there somewhere, most believe that she's no longer in Edmonton. And around the 1-year anniversary of Nadia's disappearance, a reporter did reach out to Nadia's husband to track him down and get an interview and, see where his life has kind of gone. He revealed to the reporter at that time that he had actually taken her son and moved to another country, and that if Nadia did return, that he would be immediately divorcing her. So I'm not sure if that's just he feels abandoned and can't really cope with his emotions towards this tragic loss, and so he's resentful. I'm not sure what it says, but for me, that's also something that just does not sit right. So yeah, I'm really not sure if it's a trauma thing for him, a trauma response, but it screams to me that he may have had something to do with her disappearance and then basically fled the country, and if that is the case, has gotten away scot-free. As of today, which is actually Valentine's Day 2020, it's been just over 2 years since Nadia's disappearance. I would love it and appreciate it if all of my Alberta friends and family could watch this video, share this video, become involved in the Facebook group if you're interested in that, and just get her face out there, get her story out there so we can hopefully bring her home. I'm a local and I didn't even really know about this case until a year after it happened. I was living there when it happened, and there just wasn't a lot of news coverage on it, if I'm being honest. There was a few stories, but it really wasn't a big thing, and that breaks my heart. There should have been more coverage, there should have been more happening, in my opinion, via the police force and searching her home. And you know, I'm not entirely sure what they actually did do, because there's not a lot of info on that, but I'm sure there could have been more done. It couldn't hurt to get the information out. She obviously is fully within her rights to remain missing if she chooses to. I know that's kind of a frowned upon thing, but she's got the right to do it. But if someone took her, or she was in an episode and is now trapped somewhere, stuck somewhere, or if someone took advantage of and hurt her, murdered her, it's just good to get the story out there so we can figure it out if that's in fact what happened. Nadia is approximately 5'7" to 5'8" and weighs 180 pounds. She has brown eyes and long curly hair. She was last seen wearing darker clothing with potentially a 3/4 length jacket, dark jacket with a light lining, and she may be wearing a hijab. If you think you've seen Nadia or you have any information, I will leave the numbers below to contact EPS, Edmonton Police Service, or you can call Crimestoppers and give a tip there. There's also a really cool option now to submit tips online through a little form they have set up, so I'll leave that link below as well. So yeah, that is it for me today, and let me know if you would like a personal vlog. I have cats and geckos, so maybe that's interesting. Anyway, might dabble in that. I'm in a new house, new city, it's a new year, trying new things. So let me know in the comments if that's something you'd like to see. Thanks for watching today, guys. Give this video a thumbs up and share if you liked it, and I will see you next time. Bye, guys.